check, man. Like, he's not going to get a big signing bonus. There's not going to be a big guarantee. Top 5 pick, you're talking about $30 to $40 million. And then it sets you up for that next contract. Any day they want to get rid of him the week, they can get rid of him. And it's really tough when they draft someone at your position because only one quarterback plays. It's not like wideout. And then in the 3rd round, they drafted Dillon Gabriel. I think either Shedeur or Kenny Pickett are going to start. I think they're going to keep Joe Flacco around just long enough to give him some seasoning.
Cris Carter thought he was about to drop a bomb, but instead, he dropped himself right into the blast zone. 1 second, he's talking slick about Shedeur Sanders, and the next, he's backpedaling faster than a cornerback in a 2-minute drill. The internet came swinging, and let's just say the clapback hit harder than one of Deion Sanders' post-game rants. This wasn't just a bad take, it was a career highlight reel of regret. The drama's spicy, the irony's thick, and the internet is feasting on every second of it. It's like Cris Carter woke up, poured a big bowl of hot takes, added a scoop of ego, and said, "Let's make history today."
Car with his driver right after they'd been driving him and his brother around for 2 days. The things that the driver said, as far as the way he conducts his business, the way he takes care of himself, the way he bosses his brother around to make sure that he's not late because he could do some things that aren't as timely as Shedeur. So a true CEO coming down every time he called him, he was 5 minutes early. The way he was preparing his dress, his wardrobe inside the car, things he talked about with his brother, the seriousness with which he conducted himself, like all these things, like he was just bragging about Shedeur. And man,
he thought he was about to school the young gun, but instead, he turned into the class example of what not to do. One bold line turned into a viral storm, and before he could blink, receipts were raining down like confetti at a Super Bowl parade. He wanted attention. Oh, he got it. But not the kind that trends with laughing emojis and side-eye memes. See, when people take shots at Shedeur Sanders, it's usually bitter ex-players, jealous fans, or old heads who still think a real quarterback calls plays with a chalkboard and wears a neck brace. But Cris? This one was different. It was like watching a retired chef walk into Gordon Ramsay's kitchen holding a gas station burrito, talking trash while everyone else is cooking filet mignon. Because Shedeur isn't just playing football, he's building a story. This is a man raised under stadium lights.
He ain't running, okay?
Yeah.
Let me tell you what, they taught him a great lesson. Like, you don't have this figured out. Your dad don't have this figured out. So for his job interview, he was so concerned about, what his outfit was. His necklace was over $100,000. Like, he hadn't even convinced people that you're the face of our franchise. Matter of fact, he had convinced people that they were better off going in a different direction, even with people who had lesser talent. And his family, they overplayed their hand. Them thinking that he was in the same evaluation mode as Eli Manning.
Molded by a father who invented prime time, and now he's turning every doubt into a highlight reel. From Jackson State to the big stage, he didn't come to fit in. He came to prove that the name Sanders still means dominance, drive, and danger for anyone who dares to underestimate it. And what did Shedeur do after all that noise? Oh, nothing major, just dominate. He stacked up yards like they were lottery tickets, broke records left and right, and turned Colorado into the most watched soap opera in college football history. But yeah, sure, let's act like he's one bad drive away from riding the bench, because that totally makes sense, right? Cris Carter's take wasn't just off, it was orbiting another planet. It was the kind of wrong that makes you wonder if he accidentally reviewed the wrong game.
Don't kid yourself, this is how the league works. The owner of the Cleveland Browns, Jimmy Haslam, is really impulsive. And in a quarterback room with zero star power, except Shedeur Sanders, he's going to get a chance. He is desperate to be recognized and for star power. Cleveland's roster is the weakest easily in the division, and the early schedule is brutal. So my prediction, you start looking at that schedule between weeks 7 and 10, Shedeur Sanders is going to get a shot here. Shedeur's on this roster because Jimmy has...
Or maybe slipped into a parallel universe where Deion Sanders teaches golf and Shedeur's out there training for the 400-meter dash. Because in this world, Shedeur isn't warming the bench, he owns it. He's locked into that quarterback spot tighter than a championship ring on parade day. No coach in their right mind is pulling a guy like that, not unless they've got a time machine and a clone version of Patrick Mahomes fueled by Red Bull and pure revenge. And let's be real, it's not just about skill. Even though, yes, the kid's got an arm that could star in the next Marvel movie. It's about presence. Shedeur steps onto the field like he's walking into his own living room. It's his house, his rules, and everyone else better wipe their cleats before they even think about stepping onto his turf. That swagger, you can't coach that.
Look at potential, understanding the NFL offenses. Gabriel's a third-round pick. Why wouldn't he be the backup? Flacco is an emergency, a Band-Aid. If you start hemorrhaging out blood and everything, Flacco can stop the bleed. But Shedeur, he's gotten 2 speeding tickets. Like when he came into the locker room, we'd be talking about, hey, listen, hey, dumbass.
I'd be like, hey,
this
Drew,
is the kind of stuff to get you cut. He's the only 5th rounder that we're talking about. The police video camera wouldn't have been on, all those things. But what you get paid in attention, is it fair? No, it ain't fair. But what you get paid ain't fair either. And anybody.
You can't replace that. You can only respect it or get embarrassed trying to deny it. But Cris didn't stop at a casual jab. Nah, he came in swinging like he had something to prove. Maybe he thought the internet forgot about his own slip-ups back in the day. Or maybe he just missed the spotlight that comes with a good old-fashioned social media roasting. Either way, he picked the wrong target, because you never come for Shedeur without a plan, or at least without proof. And just as Carter's words started heating up online, the internet did what it does best. It pulled out the receipts. Then something glorious happened, like karma showing up wearing cleats. Reports started rolling in that Shedeur isn't just quarterback 1, he's the quarterback 1, as in there's no backup even visible on the radar. The man's out there grinding harder than a TikTok influencer chasing the algorithm. Film room, he practically lives there. Practice field, he owns it. And leadership, please, this team doesn't see him as the coach's son. They see him as the guy.
One thing, last year when Deion interviewed for the Dallas Cowboys job, that did not help Shedeur. Now it helped Deion get a new contract in Colorado, but long-term it didn't help Shedeur because the Giants, they're coached in their last year, general manager in their last year. If they struggle, the Giants potentially, an option would be look at Deion as the head coach. So why would I draft a kid? Like they missed out on that. Like they obviously, they didn't think this all the way through. And I think there were a number of teams that had that in the back of their mind, and they don't believe his talent.
The one who sets the tone, the standard, and the pace that everyone else tries to keep up with. Meanwhile, Cris Carter was out here talking like Shedeur tripped over his own shoelaces and mistook the playbook for a lunch order. The man got roasted instantly. The memes came flying in faster than Colorado's offense on a hurry-up drive. Fans were pulling up old clips, old tweets, even old interviews, trying to find the last time Cris said something that aged well. Spoiler alert, it's been a long time. It was a social media meltdown and Carter's name was trending for all the wrong reasons. And then, bam, the plot twist no one saw coming. Deion Sanders himself steps in.
Them trying to narrow the teams that he was going to go to, that didn't do right. Not working out the combine, that wasn't the right thing. His interview process, obviously he could have done a lot better in that. A lot of people left that meeting, felt he was
not with a fiery speech, not with some flashy comeback, but with that cold, silent swagger that says, I heard you, but you're not worth my breath. That silence, it was louder than any clapback. You could feel the temperature drop the second Prime Time's energy hit the room. And just like that, Cris Carter's hot take evaporated. Poof! Gone faster than water on a Texas sidewalk in July. You could almost hear the regret. Not the loud kind, no, the quiet kind. The kind that creeps in when your own group chat is roasting you. When your barber brings it up mid-fade like, so you really said that, huh? That's pain, because this wasn't just a bad take. It was part of a bigger problem. Sports commentary has become addicted to he might get benched content, chasing drama over truth, hype over facts, and clout over credibility. And in this case, that addiction blew up right in Cris Carter's face. It's lazy, it's desperate, and honestly, it aged faster than a banana left in a sauna. Let's call it what it is, pure clickbait. Because let's be real, Shedeur Sanders isn't QB1 because of nepotism.
Round draft choice, right? And it's some of the decisions you have made, and it lends credence to the criticism that he received in the pre-draft process, right? Didn't show up, prepared in meetings, didn't catch intentional mistakes, right? All these different little things that came out during that pre-draft process. And this is one of those situations, I was a 10th rounder. You're keeping your nose clean, you're making sure you do everything the right way because you know, being a late round draft choice, he's a late round draft choice, a 5th rounder.
If that were the case, half the league would be filled with legacy hires dragging their dad's playbooks into the locker room. But here's the difference. Shedeur earned it. Every yard, every throw, every stare down in crunch time came from sweat, not surname. This kid lives in the film room, breathes pressure like it's oxygen, and turns teammates into believers. He's not just playing football, he's building faith. That's why Colorado rides with him. He's not just a quarterback, he's a movement, a symbol of what happens when talent meets work ethic. And trust me, this movement doesn't stop just because Cris Carter decided to get a little spicy on camera. Now for the comedy portion, because it gets hilarious. Once Carter's take hit the timeline, fans lit up Twitter like it was a bonfire of sarcasm and memes. The roasting was poetic. People were editing his face onto blooper reels.
Everything you need to know about Shedeur Sanders going to the Cleveland Browns. He can win the starting job, so in theory it is a dream delayed, not necessarily denied. I was drafted to Cleveland. I know that city and I know that franchise well. The Cleveland Browns depth chart at the quarterback position. Deshaun Watson coming off an Achilles, and the ownership group has publicly criticized him. Joe Flacco, I believe 38, 39 years of age. He is not the future. You have Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett, a first-round pick of 3 years ago that the Pittsburgh Steelers gave up on after 2 years. Then you have Dillon Gabriel. Dillon Gabriel, a rookie this year that Shedeur Sanders was better than in college. Shedeur can win that starting job. I believe he can win it halfway through the season.
Rewriting his quotes like they were stand-up punchlines and quoting Shedeur's stats like holy scripture. The internet came for blood and entertainment. But while the chaos unfolded online, what was Shedeur doing? Running drills, watching film, posting calm, confident, motivational clips on Instagram with captions so smooth they made Wall Street CEOs rethink their entire life goals. The man didn't even flinch, because when you've been doubted since day one more critic is just background noise. Meanwhile, Cris Carter, silence. Not even a let's wait and see, nothing. That man disappeared from the timeline like his Wi-Fi bill was overdue, and honestly, it makes sense. When you swing that hard and miss so badly the bat flies into another state, sometimes the only play left is to sit down, smile politely, and eat your slice of humble pie with extra toppings.
Is that are not accustomed to dealing with or having conversations with individuals at this position that have a certain snack, crackle, pop to them.
Right, I feel you.
They're not. Yeah. They don't walk and talk like the quarterback position. That's the only thing they've ever coached. They've only coached this type of quarterback. So they're not used to a dude rolling in there, probably got the big old chain on, and he got the swag with his hat and his glasses. He ain't even had that on like that. No, but I'm saying, in their mind, they see that. And he's smiling and being himself. They're not used to that.
Now, let's be honest. Cris Carter isn't some rookie in the hot take business. The man's a veteran. He knows how TV works, he knows what gets clicks, and he definitely knows how to stir up attention. But here's the catch. When you cross into reckless territory, especially when talking about a young man carrying not only his own name, but his father's legacy, people aren't going to stay quiet. They're going to call you out, loudly, creatively, and hilariously. This isn't 2003 anymore, where bad takes disappear into thin air. In 2025, the internet keeps receipts forever. See, a lot of these so-called analysts still don't see Shedeur as legit because he didn't follow the traditional Power 5 path to the NFL. They ignore the grind, the film study, the poise, the intelligence. It all goes unseen. They just see the last name Sanders and assume privilege, like Deion handed him a golden playbook and said, "Here, son, go win." But that couldn't be further from the truth. Having prime time as your dad doesn't make the road easier. It makes it brutal. Because now Shedeur has to be great, not just good, to silence every jealous critic waiting to call him daddy's favorite. That pressure, it would break most quarterbacks before their first drive. But Shedeur, he turned that pressure into fuel. And Cris Carter, he just accidentally dropped a match right into the tank. Let's call it what it is. This whole saga is the perfect case study in say less, do more. Cris did the opposite. He said more and instantly regretted all of it. Meanwhile, Shedeur didn't have to say a word. His play did the talking, his composure did the flexing, and the internet did the clowning. It's poetic, almost Shakespearean. But instead of a tragic ending, we got a comedy full of memes, highlight reels, and a quarterback radiating more confidence than a room full of reality TV stars fighting over camera time. And oh, the irony. Cris Carter, a man whose career was built on catching footballs, just got caught slipping by one of the very players he underestimated. That's not just karma, that's poetic justice, served sizzling hot with a side of humility and a drizzle of maybe sit the next one out. And let's not forget, this is only preseason.
I mean, everybody else that we talked to have said that Shedeur looks good. He looks really good.
Yes.
He looks better. And we got Zach that say Dylan Gabriel ain't even an NFL quarterback.
That's true.
So how is it that this man can't get a rep with the one, but that non-NFL quarterback can?
We all
what
agree
sense
with that.
does that make?
It makes no sense.
Clearly, the guys running the team disagree with us.
Man.
It doesn't make any
and they're
sense.
the ones
what are y'all trying to?
If this much drama's hitting before kickoff, imagine what's coming once the real games begin. Just imagine what's coming once Shedeur starts lighting up defenses this fall. Picture it. September hits, the season kicks off, and suddenly every critic who swore he was overrated starts fumbling their words like a bad snap. You'll see them on TV trying to pivot from "he's done" to "I always believed in him." Spoiler alert, screenshots exist. The internet's memory is eternal. And once you talk slick, those receipts never expire. So let's check the scoreboard, shall we? Shedeur Sanders, unbothered, undefeated in the offseason, and still the undisputed QB1, with enough swagger to star in his own Netflix documentary. Meanwhile, Cris Carter's out here holding a mic and a handful of regrets, probably Googling how to walk back a viral take without sounding desperate. The fans? Oh, they're fed, entertained, and fully equipped with memes, ready for the next weekly installment of Who Doubted Shedeur? This time. And the best part? This saga isn't over, not even close. As long as Shedeur keeps showing up and the haters keep talking, the entertainment writes itself. Just ask Cris after he finishes wiping the scorch marks off his Twitter mentions. Because honestly, how do you go from Hall of Fame route runner to sideline sniper with selective memory? This wasn't some harmless opinion. This was Cris Carter versus genetics, legacy, and a mountain of grind tape. You'd think a man who faced his own career-long criticism would show some understanding for a kid fighting through the same fire, under brighter lights, and with his dad as the coach, cameras on 24/7, reporters circling like hawks, and haters with microphones praying for him to fail. And still, Cris lit the match anyway. But Shedeur, he didn't flinch, he flipped it. Cris tried to start a quarterback controversy, and Shedeur turned it into fireworks. While Carter was busy over-analyzing imaginary battles that don't exist, Shedeur was out there grinding like a machine, dragging weighted sleds under the scorching 95-degree sun, launching 40-yard lasers during practice like it was a warm-up drill. While everyone online debated his future, Shedeur stayed quiet. No tweets, no sub-tweets, no statements, just pure work. Because that's what real ones do. They don't explain, they perform. And when the lights come back on this season, all that noise, it's gonna sound real small next to the sound of Shedeur torching another defense, like it's personal. At this point, Shedeur didn't even need to clap back. His off-season training videos did all the talking for him. Full field reads sharper than a surgeon's blade, rockets firing from his arm with pinpoint accuracy, and footwork so smooth it looked like someone CGI'd Peyton Manning right into Deion's backyard.
And the question, though, is this. Being in Cleveland, a team that is very hungry for success, will they have the patience for Shedeur Sanders to ever materialize? And Shedeur, now it's on you. It's time for you to materialize. It's time for you to go to work. You're a rookie. And worse than that, you're a rookie 5th-round pick. Now it's time to just grind and make sure you remind everybody it is a dream delayed. It's not a dream denied.
No drama, no cryptic tweets, no interviews, just pure, relentless grind. Because yeah, he's Deion's son, but more importantly, he's the player who earned every single snap last season on a team that gave him 0 pass protection and more media chaos than a reality TV finale. Cris Carter forgot one crucial thing. This isn't just football, this is family. It's legacy, it's brand, it's empire. You don't casually toss out a take suggesting Shedeur's losing the QB job unless you're ready to back it up with real receipts. Because once that smoke cleared, it turned out Cris didn't bring stats or facts. He brought a lighter and a whole lot of regret. By the time those workout clips dropped on Twitter, showing Shedeur slicing through drills like a man on a mission, and the camp reports leaked out confirming his total dominance, Cris Carter's hot take aged like milk left in the sun. The memes came flooding in, captioned, "QB won forever, Shedeur don't miss," and "delete that tweet, Cris." It was glorious chaos. One fan even went viral saying, "Next time Cris Carter speaks on QBs, someone hide his mic." And honestly, facts. Someone please put his analysis in timeout until further notice, because Shedeur's job, it's locked in, cemented, and no amount of wishful thinking from washed-up analysts is changing that. So let's talk. Was Cris Carter out of pocket for taking that swing, or was he just bold enough to say the quiet part out loud? Drop your take in the comments, because one thing's for sure, this saga turned into pure entertainment, and the internet is eating good tonight. Either way, Cris Carter picked the wrong quarterback to doubt, because Shedeur didn't just clap back, he clocked in. This right here has been a full-blown masterclass in premature analysis, a TED Talk on why you never bet against a Sanders, and a golden reminder that instant regret is always just one bad takeaway. The man tried to play expert, and Shedeur turned it into an episode of how to end a career in 60 seconds. Because when you move reckless in primetime territory, you're not just talking football, you're poking a dynasty. And Shedeur? He didn't waste breath proving his point. He let his work do it for him. From viral workouts to ice-cold confidence, he's out here showing what happens when preparation meets pressure and talent meets timing. So grab your popcorn, because this season's only heating up. Shedeur's story is just beginning, and every game's another chance for the world to see what happens when the next generation of greatness refuses to play small. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and share with your crew, and I'll see you on the next one.